back to Darin and Anita, a music evolution.
Darin and Anita, we are back with McKinley Jackson.
Of the Politicians. Anita, what an interview this is.
It is. It really is.
McKinley, how are you?
Darin, I'm doing fine, and give my best to Anita.
She is right here with us.
Hello, McKinley.
And thank you for calling in to tell us your insight on Danny Woods.
It was my pleasure. It's really my pleasure. Danny was an exceptional guy. My pleasure again.
You and Danny sort of started out back in the day, well, so to speak.
That's very true. Not even so to speak. Before the chairman of the board, Danny and I were working together and recording together. And just briefly, since I knew I was calling in, I thought about it. Danny and I, he used to have a manager, Betty Slater. I was working at this club called the Brown Bunny in Detroit. And Danny came in and sang. And backed him up, but then his manager approached me to back Danny up at all the other engagements he had. So I went with Danny, and actually, as I traveled with Danny, I pieced together the group, and it became the Politicians. So we worked a lot of the clubs in the suburbs. So I pick up a piece. So Danny actually, indirectly and directly, was responsible for my group, the Politicians.
Wow.
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, we were signed, the Politician was signed with Holland, Dozier and Holland, and Jeffrey Bourne, one of the producers there that signed me, was asking about that I know any good vocalists, and I mentioned Danny, and we met at the studio that we were using at that time called Tri-Sound, and Barney Perkins was the engineer, and Danny came down, Angelo Bonds, who became a great writer at Holland, Dozier and Holland. We were all down there at that time with no contract, so once I got mine, he met Danny down there, and they put together the chairman of the board.
Wow.
They brought in General from Virginia and Harrison from Canada.
Right.
And Eddie Custis from St. Louis, I believe. Eddie didn't stay with the group the entire time.
Right.
That's how the Politicians came about, and later that's how the chairman of the board came about. So I was there at the inception of the chairman of the board.
We have talked before in a video interview, folks, if you want to go catch this on our website, and you were sort of the music and the inspiration with Holland, Dozier and Holland. Not, when I say inspiration, I mean the music. Sort of, we were talking about the Funk Brothers with Motown and sort of what you did with Holland, Dozier and Holland.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, Ken Knox tells me I chose him to be part of the chairman of the board group at that time.
Right.
And as we know, Ken has been there ever since that time.
Yes.
So I was like the in-house resident arranger. I thought they signed me as an artist, but they really signed me just to utilize my arranging talent, quote unquote. So,
we all get used for something, McKinley.
There we go. Well, those who don't misuse you, we
exactly.
We got a little bit of both.
Exactly. Hey, that is the music industry in itself, right there. I think somewhat.
In a nutshell,
it is. You've known Danny for so long. Do you have any funny stories? Because I know Danny was sort of character in himself.
Oh, for sure. Well, let me mention the live shows with Danny. There was a lot of. Well, Danny, like you said, was a character himself. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you could probably come up with 100 because Danny was just a funny guy. But Danny used to sing live, and we would do. First of all, he was the greatest, one of the greatest singers in my lifetime.
Right.
That I've met, and that's sincerely the truth. That's and as I think about it and look at all the singers, Danny was unique. He used to sing one song, "Danny Boy," which was very appropriate, and he was one of the best. Jackie Wilson did the gold standard on that song, and Danny must have been gold or platinum because he really was singing that. And the other song he was saying would be "Shout." This is when he would jump. He was singing and singing and singing and singing, exhausting the group, the band. And then that wasn't through. Danny was a dynamite entertainer, powder keg, because he would set up 10 chairs or so and jump over them.
Wow.
Take a running star, honestly, the truth. And we'd take a running star, jump over 10. Then he would put 11. Then he would put 12. Then he would put 15. Then he would put 14. And I'm not, and I don't think I would be misleading if I said he put up to 15 chairs or more.
Right.
And eventually he would get so many, say like 18 or so, and he'd act like he was going to run and jump over, and he wouldn't. I'm not crazy. I just play crazy.
We could call him the Evel Knievel of the entertainers in the music world.
You really could, and it'd be very true. I hope. I wish everybody could have seen that, because a lot of people didn't. When he was very, very young then. As a matter of fact, Danny's first record, "Love and Devotion." I want to think of "Love and Devotion." That was Danny's. I believe it was Danny's first recording. He did some other minor league recording around it, but Bob Babbitt and Ray Monette from Rare Earth and myself produced that one. I wrote it. That was my first string arrangement, I believe. I did the arranging and production on that, and Betty Slater, who was his manager, Danny, and myself, we wrote it along with "Come On and Dance," and we did a version of I couldn't find this one. I've been looking for it. "To Be Loved" by Jackie Wilson, which was Berry Gordy's first record that he recorded on Jackie Wilson. And Danny and I, we did a version of it again. And we had another one called 90 Days in the County Jail. But that was about 1967, and they had the riots in Detroit. So nobody wanted to hear about 90 Days in the County Jail. We had airplay on it, but then the riot broke out, and it just, it just killed the whole thing.
Well, I know McKinley, Finders Keepers is a song that you had a hand in.
That's true. I played on it. Actually, I did a couple of things. One is very insignificant, but on the front of it's like a series of hand claps that they threw into echo, and it makes it sound like an effect, which they readily get nowadays with the computer. We didn't have computers back then. Then I did a trombone solo on it, and I hadn't played trombone in quite a while because I was writing and arranging. And anyway, they asked me to do it, and I did it. And we did Soul Train together, Danny and I. That was the last performance that Danny and I did together, which was Soul Train.
And I think you can find that Soul Train video clip nowadays with the technology we have on YouTube.
We did the Finders Keepers on there, along with the Funkadelics. Quite a few guys from the Funkadelics were on there with us.
McKinley, thank you so much for coming on with us. McKinley with the Politicians, folks. And just to get the insight on Danny Woods and what he was like in the beginning of his career. We all know sort of how Danny is or was today. But it's cool to go back and talk to a lot of folks and know what he was like when it all first started. And evidently he didn't change at all. He just got better with it.
That's exactly right. Great singer, great artist, and great person. I mean, a beautiful, big-hearted person.
McKinley, here it is. Let's give them the song we just talked about. This is McKinley Jackson.
This would be Finders Keepers, the chairman of the board, naturally.